So Gary, I imagine you did a bit of a...
I like that, Sir Gary.
Gary, yeah.
That's got a little ring about it, isn't it? Thank you.
You obviously did your debrief of the Saturday game this morning, I'd imagine. Did it look as good as you were expecting it to?
Well, to be honest, we did our debriefing on Sunday. We got them in on Sunday. Always difficult when they're putting a lot of effort to bring them in on the Sunday, but we wanted to have this day Monday to prepare for the Charlton game and not sort of go back. So we did it all Sunday, and I was very impressed with the second half. As much as I was disappointed with the first, I was impressed with the second. And the good thing is the confidence that gives the lads in themselves and in the team amounts to a lot. So, but we needed that second half so that they could look around and go, well, actually, we've not got a bad side here, because with all due respect to Orient, we had them under pressure like they had us under pressure first half, but we had them under pressure for the whole of that second half. And there was lots of goal scoring opportunities. We got the one, but we had other opportunities. 100%, even though when we wasn't playing well, we got a penalty. And nobody can tell me otherwise, because the linesman told me that the defender had his leg on the ground and Morse kicked him. Well, if you see the photo of the contact, there's no way that happened. And also the back pass, which is obviously inside the 6-yard box, so you'd have had an opportunity there. So I was really pleased with our opportunities that we created, and in the second half with our fitness and our effort, and we had 4 or 5 go to their maximum. You know, when you're talking about players getting to their 100%, there was a few there that hadn't quite, for one reason or another, had 90 minutes previously, but they got through it, and they'll be better for it.
We'll get to the second half in a minute, but the first half, do you feel there was just a bit of nerves about the occasion?
I think there was nerves and new people. You know, they'd only seen the goalkeeper for a couple of sessions, and obviously Suleiman's still only a young lad, and you know, when there's a question mark about people going into a game, you know, players sometimes adjust to it and they get a bit worried and they're not quite as open as they should be. But maybe the goal helped us come out. You know, that early goal, we gave them an early start, and then we needed to come out and play in second half, as we say we did. But yeah, I think it was a little bit of nerves. I think when you read a lot of the reports on the games over the weekend, 70% of managers said there was a bit of nerves in my team, and I think that's just natural.
The second half, as a contrast, you must have been really pleased with the fitness that your side showed, because they were much the stronger at the end of the game, especially.
Yeah, well, they wasting time, weren't they, towards the end there? Just they was happy with a draw, and I lost count of how many times the ball fell in the penalty area, and they just managed to get onto it. You know, we've got to get onto some of them, and then we had a couple of decent chances. We got a few throws into the box, we got a few free kicks and corners into the box, so we gave ourselves every chance to go on and win the game, but just wasn't to be on the day.
Were you keeping Dan O'Shaughnessy's throws as a bit of a secret during pre-season?
Well, he kept it a secret for most of pre-season, and then suddenly, you know, we had a training session, and he just threw one, and we all went, "Where the bloody hell's that? Where's that come from?" But you know, it's a good ploy, especially if you're chasing the game a little bit. And he's a good athlete, Dan, and he's getting stronger and he's getting better. And the more games he has, the better he'll become. And if you've got a decent technique, you know, we don't want to put it in the opposition's hands by saying exactly what it is, but it's handy when you need it.
How much of a good thing is it to be playing as underdogs again tomorrow, as the team that aren't expected to do it? You can go out there without any pressure to perform, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. It's yeah, I don't mind being underdogs, but at the same time, you don't want to be playing like underdogs, where you're watching the opposition perform and you know all their strengths. And you don't want to wait and see their strengths and go, oh yeah, that's what the gaffer said. He can shoot from 40 yards, or he can cross a ball, or he's a good tackler. You know, we got to do all those things so that Charlton know that A, they're in a game, so the competitiveness has got to be there, and B, we've got to show that we can play as well. and you've got to make sure that you create chances. I can't see our forwards ever not create chances, and that's what we have to think about, and we have to make sure that they're thinking all the time. These strikers could, pull something out of the bag, and we've got to think that about theirs as well, because Jose and Novak have been around a little while, and they're decent as well.
How much of the three subs sort of stuck their hand up and said, "Hit me from the start, Gaffer"?
All of them, because I thought, you have to, as a manager, you're trying to work out when the best time to bring them on. You don't want to do it too early, you don't want to do it too late, but I just felt we needed just that little bit more momentum going into the last 20-25 minutes or so. Issa Suleiman was on a yellow card anyway, so I didn't want to risk that, and I knew that Barts and Cranston would have the legs to get up and down, and then Billy's Billy. He had 25 minutes to cause a problem to them, which he did by popping up everywhere, and then we certainly took the onus in that last 20 minutes. So that's what subs are there for. I always use my subs. You've always known that, because they are fresh impetus, fresh momentum when you need them.
Yeah, but have as someone like Billy Waters with his goal said to you, "Oh, I might be there for a start"?
Yeah, they have. All three of them have, and that's what you want, is subs to do that. I don't know, they should find another word, because people don't like being called subs, and all that, or impact players. Yeah. But you've got to make sure that when you bring people on off the bench, that they're going to create a problem for the opposition, or stop the opposition. You might be 1-0 up, and you've got to make different substitutions and different decisions. So, listen, I've only got sort of 14 senior pros at the moment, so they're all in with a chance. Don't worry about that.
Mentioning that, any development on any of whether the fitness of those that were missing Saturday will be back?
No, I just had a chat with Gav. I don't think any of them will be back till sort of not this weekend, but the following weekend. And so we'll get on with what we got, and move a couple around every now and again, just to give a bit of a breather. But these lads don't want a breather; they want to be they want to be playing, and that's why they're here. Because with our due diligence, we make sure that everybody wants to earn a living and not nick a living.
Yeah, you said Saturday that you wouldn't look to bring anybody in unless it was right. Is that the case that that 14 you're happy with those players to come back in? Yeah,
I think if you have too big a squad when they all come back in, all of a sudden you've got people that are outside of the 17, 18,
yeah.
Outside of the 18, and that's too far away. So we've got to make sure it's good that the three young lads are getting experience of sitting here in the crowd and the warm-ups and sitting in the dressing room and the banter and all that. It's a real good learning curve for them. But of course it gives me 2 or 3 spots to create a more experienced bench. And really that's what I've got to look for. Whether that's getting players for the team, and then 3 of the team sitting on the bench, or wherever it is, but we certainly need 2 or 3 more experienced professionals.
Just finally on Downsy, how close is he now? Because he's training with the first team for maybe 2 weeks now, is he?
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's pushing himself very, very early, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed that he's not doing it too early. But he's very keen to be involved. The medical side of it is that he's still got to be 4 or 5 weeks until he's really ready to play against opposition and make his tackles and his headers and all that sort of thing. So we go like that every time he makes the tackles. He wants to prove himself earlier at the moment, and good on him. But we just got to hold him back a little bit, because we've got to get it right.
Have you had a conversation with him about contracts? Because he's week to week, month to month at the moment.
Yeah, we had a quick conversation, and he'll stay on a week to week until the injuries got better, and he gets out there and proves himself again. That the injuries are cleared up, because it's been a long time where you're going to be paying somebody who's out of contract, if you like, but we're still paying him, and and we're probably paying him for what he done last year and the influence he has around the place. So, and the work that he does with the sponsors and that. So in effect, he's not a waste of money, no way. But it'd be good if he starts playing and starts earning the money for what he came here for, and that's to be a footballer.
Finally, I asked you this question on Thursday about success from the game. What would you take for success from the Charlton game?
A win. I don't know any other way of doing that, and they don't either. You know, if it's something that's a first team game that we don't want to win, then we'll put the youth team out, and even then we'll be upset if they lose. But because if you've got a small squad, you can't play in all the competitions with 14, 15 players. So last year we had to forsake a little bit, and it proved good for us. You know, it was the right decision at the time. So Grimsby did it well, but at the same time, they had a bigger squad, a bigger staff, much bigger staff. So
21 points behind you, Brian.
Yeah, well, there you go. So we didn't take no chances, did we? And it was important that we didn't take any chances.
Cheers. Thank you.
No problem.
I was going to ask you another one.